This is a Fox News alert. The Department of Justice taking action and prosecuting the fraudsters that we tell you about every week. So listen to this. The DOJ announcing that over the past 7 days, the Department of Justice has taken enforcement action in fraud schemes totaling over $340 million. And here are several of the alleged fraudsters that were arrested just this week across several states. The DOJ also secured several court victories. Listen to some of these. Now, in California, a former teacher admitted that she conspired to steal tens of millions in Medicare funds. Over in Missouri, a chiropractor was sentenced to 8 years in prison after allegedly issuing fraudulent prescriptions for powerful pain medications with no legitimate medical purpose. Now, he has been ordered to repay $4.7 million to Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE. And then down in Texas, an illegal immigrant admitted, quote, to theft of government funds and aggravated identity theft using a stolen identity. She submitted immigration petitions on behalf of family members and obtained disability and Medicare benefits. Meanwhile, Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. highlighted the Trump administration's ongoing effort to target healthcare fraud in the state of California.
We've already shut down 500 hospices in Los Angeles, and incidentally, we haven't had one call from Congress or anybody else about complaining because clearly these were fraudulent.
Joining me now, the man leading the charge, First Assistant U.S. Attorney for Central District of California, Bill Essayli. Bill, you heard RFK Jr. there. You are in a state where this hospice fraud is apparently rampant. He hasn't had calls that people are missing out on their hospice care, and we covered a hospice facility in California where I believe it was 97% of the people lived. They're doing real miracle work out there. What are you finding as you prosecute these guys?
We are finding just a tremendous amount of fraud. We did just a couple weeks ago a huge takedown on hospice fraud with Dr. Oz, where in one day we arrested 15 people for over $50 million of healthcare fraud. That's one day's work. What we're seeing, Kaylee, is basically in California, I call it the kingdom of fraud, nobody's minding the shop. The money just goes out the door, no checking, no vetting, and I want to be very clear, California has a responsibility to make sure the money's going to the intended recipients. The federal government provides most of the dollars, but it's states like California that administer these programs. And so whether that's hospice, which is licensed and regulated through the state of California, or home health care, which is another area we're seeing a tremendous amount of fraud, or employment benefits during COVID, California gave out $30 billion in fraud because they didn't even verify basic information on the applications. There is no checks, there's no vetting, and there's no checking, and the money's just going out the door.
I've asked a question to Dr. Oz and then to Andrew Ferguson, who's on the White House task force, about whether they have spoken to Gavin Newsom. And maybe you could write it off and say, oh, Gavin Newsom doesn't want to talk to the White House and Andrew Ferguson because he's on the task force. But you are the district attorney on the ground in California. Have you spoken to Gavin Newsom?
I've not heard a peep from him. He's got this troll account on Twitter that likes to spew comments, but that's all we hear from him is just trolling and mocking. He mocked Nick Shirley. He mocked our prosecutions. And then the next day you have his attorney general coming out and doing the exact thing we're talking about, which is fraud. So they don't know what to do, Kaylee. I think they're flailing a little bit. They wanted to not shine a light on the magnitude of the fraud. We're past that now. So now they're shifting, trying to make it look like they're serious about it. They're not serious. The legislature just had an opportunity in California last week to do, or this week, to do a task force and do some oversight, and the legislature voted it down. They're not interested in talking about fraud because it's an indictment on their government, on their policies and their practices, and they don't want to do anything about it. They just want to spend government tax dollars.
And when he mocks Nick Shirley and when he mocks you and when he mocks the work of prosecuting fraudsters, he's really mocking the American people, the taxpayer. We all paid our tax bills Wednesday. To the point of the Attorney General, Democrat Attorney General Bonta, he came out in full force. He said he's on the task. He's prosecuting fraud. I want to play a little clip of that.
Well, healthcare fraud might be President Trump's shiny new political talking point. California DOJ has been going after healthcare fraud since 1979. For decades. Trump is late to the party.
So Trump's late to the party, but you say Bonta, the Democratic AG, is late to the party.
They've done nothing in California over the last decade to meaningfully go after fraud. In fact, they've passed decriminalization laws. They've emptied the prisons. We have half as many prisoners in California today as we did 10 years ago. Good luck getting anyone a prison sentence in California for fraud. That's why, really, it's the Trump administration, it's the vice president's task force that's the only one who's able to provide this important accountability, because when the federal government comes in and you get arrested, you're going to federal prison, and you're going to go for a long time. And we're also going to go and take all your assets that you used to buy, that you used tax dollars to buy. We're going to take it back. We're going to take the houses. We're going to take the cars. We're the only ones that could do that. But Kaylee, there's so much fraud. We cannot possibly go after every dollar. We need the state to turn off the spigot. They've got to do their job, vetting and checking. They let one guy that we prosecuted about 2 weeks ago, one guy got over $200 million in Medi-Cal dollars because they suspended the fraud prevention measures on their website, the payment system. They suspended it, and the guy took advantage of it. 11 months, $200 million.
Wait, that's confounding to me. Why would they suspend a measure to detect fraud on their website? And the reason I ask that is because I'm looking at some of Chris Rufo's reporting, where in 2009, the Republican governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, found that these home care facilities were engaging in fraud, and up to a quarter of these payments could be fraudulent. This was 2009. It's 2026. Why are they removing safeguards when this was identified as a problem 2 decades ago?
Their explanation is they were upgrading their website, and so it was supposed to be a temporary suspension of this pre-authorization requirement on the website. But over 11 months, they didn't fix it. 11 months, they didn't implement it, and this guy took advantage of it. Fraudsters are very good. They will exploit every vulnerability in the system. And again, nobody's minding the shop. They don't care. It's not their money. They think the government will just print more money. All they care about is spending more federal dollars. The California auditor has said they need emergency regulations, and they're supposed to be passed by January 1st to regulate hospices. Newsom will not do it. He's the king of fraud. He will not do it.
Well, he's on the clock here on Saturday in America, January 1st. We have the clock ticking. We will see if he puts in place those emergency regulations. Bill Essayli, thank you for taking action.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.